I don't want to say feminist because there's a lot of politically correct kind of insinuations with what feminine is or feminism is. Womanist for me means all things pertaining to women.
Hello YouTube, hello Instagram, hello world. My name is Nicolia Malone. I am the HydeParkTherapist, and welcome to my first casual conversation. And I have Miss Nicolia, hashtag the Savage Goddess, hashtag become she. She's a wonderful, beautiful person that I have the honor and privilege to be able to call friend. She's here to talk about the importance of Black mental health in our community amongst Black and brown girls. And I'm gonna have Nicolia tell you all of the great things she has going on, and then we're gonna move forward.
So thank you for that introduction, Nyla. So I am Nicolia Kelly, known as Fly Kelly, founder of Flaunt Your Fly, which is a brown womanist organization committed to activating and igniting the divine spark in brown women across all orientations. As well as one half of Become She podcast. Jessica's the other half. Hey Jess.
Hey Jess.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. That brown womanist element kind of runs through all of the brands that I'm a part of. And how we met. That's how you asked?
Yes, let's talk a little bit about how we met so we can love on each other in public.
Girl, you know I slid in your DMs.
She slid in my DMs. You know, I'm a virgin to all that. So let me just help y'all. I'm Generation X. And so I wasn't used to people sliding in my DMs, and so that's what she did. And from there,
indeed, I was a little nervous. I'm like, she's gonna think I'm weird. She's not gonna respond. She's gonna block my ass. No, but she did not. She responded, and we planned a meetup, and we met, and we talked, and it was great. And I looked at your office, and it was just love at first sight.
Everything.
And ever since then, we have been rocking and rolling.
Exactly.
Rocking and rolling together.
Nicolia has been very instrumental in all of my events that I've had. She was a part of my very first event called It's a Breakup, and she introduced me at that event, and then we followed up with cuffing season, and her and Jessica Become She came and showed out and ran my my social networking piece, because that is where I'm lacking. And they came in and they did the damn thing. And so it was only right that I started with her. So first I'd like to give her the floor to talk a little bit about, just explain to us what womanist is.
Womanist, yes. Womanist is, I don't want to say feminist because there's a lot of politically correct kind of insinuations with what feminine is or feminism is. Womanist for me means all things pertaining to women. Intersectionality is so important to me. So when I say womanist, it means sexual orientation, gender, economic, socioeconomic, like all types of intersections. Anywhere womanist or women show up, I'm interested in, being there or learning more about that. So when I say brown womanist, it's any space that brown women occupy, and we occupy so many spaces from the earliest of times. Thank you, all of them. So I am just interested, and I love brown women so much. Right. So yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, because I know that sometimes we get caught up in all these definitions and all these words, and sometimes we don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to clear that up for anybody that didn't know. So a little bit about mental health and the couch. So what I do, for you all that don't know, I am a trained psychotherapist. I provide counseling for adults and young people. I primarily work with, right now it looks like I'm working with a lot of millennial entrepreneurs, which has been a great opportunity for me. So it's given me a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
And so with that, I'm finding that a lot of young people want to come and sit on the couch, and so it's my understanding that you decided that you wanted to go to see a therapist. What was your moment to say, I need to go get on the couch?
Shit fell apart.
Okay. All right. And shit does fall apart.
and I had no blueprint to navigate the falling apart or the unraveling that I was going through. It was, I would say it was 2009, 2010 when I first sat on a therapist couch. I had no one really to like hold my hand through that process. I was extremely nervous. I grew up extremely religious, and so all that I heard was just pray, you know, Jesus will take care of it, it'll go away, you know, just pray, pray, pray. You're not praying hard enough. And then I was like, no, this is beyond me. I need to reach out. And so I did. And at the time I was living in the Gold Coast. So unfortunately I didn't have a brown woman to kind of navigate that for me, but I did what I could do with the tools I had at that time.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm very grateful for her services. I don't want to say her name, but I am very grateful for her services. We talked, a lot of the things that brought me to the couch was I was engaged to be married. There was some things that were going on where I knew there was some infidelity, but there was some lying. But the reason why the infidelity occurred was because of some things, some life traps. I didn't even have that language until my therapist provided that language. And because language is so important for me, in college I was an English lit major. I've always been so wordy. I needed words to kind of define what it is that I've experienced or I've seen. So when she provided that language, it kind of set me free. But some life traps were emerging as soon as he proposed. It was the craziest thing. We had never gotten into an argument, never fought. The most carefree relationship I'd ever been in. And the minute he proposed, all hell broke loose. And I did not know why. And I was doing the most. I am a reformed pop-off queen. She's still in here.
You got a little bit in your neck.
She's still in here. When she needs to come out to protect me, she does. But I've since, you know, I've made peace with her. We have an understanding. But at the time, I was going clean in on him every chance I got. And I didn't understand why, but that was the reason why it drove a wedge. And, you know, anytime there's a wedge, people peep. And he became, you know, he became vulnerable. And it happens to anyone, he's human. So that was the reason why. So I definitely don't want to come on the couch and victimize as, you know, make myself a victim. There were some things that happened on both sides, but I knew that I couldn't control him lying. But what I could control is, how do I reel it in? How do I understand what got us here? What got us to a space where he was lying to me about, you know, what was going on in the relationship. And so once I began uncovering the language, and she provided, you know, understanding what life traps were, she gave me books to read to get some insight as to what was going on. And I began to clearly see that these were generational curses and generational traps that I had no clue existed until he proposed. I was so scared about being a first wife, you know, and had no model for that. I didn't know that's the reason why I was acting out. All of my subconscious fears came to the surface, telling him things like, I don't need you, and you know, you ain't shit, and, you know, just really acting out. And this was all of these abandonment narratives that were coming out that I had no clue were even there to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's a harrowing thing to sit down and be vulnerable with someone, and to basically really be an exorcism of sorts, right? And that's exactly what happened. And to have all these things come to the surface in that way, but then to be given tools on how to rise above your demons, right? A line from Dr. Strange that I love, you know, you can never get rid of your demons, but you have to learn to live above them. And that's exactly what therapy did for me. It, you know, let me know this is what's here, but you have tools to navigate. So
I love that. I love the ownership over everything. I love that you looked at where you went wrong and what can I do to control myself. I think a lot of what happens is, you know, the quote unquote angry black woman. And sometimes when we get into situations, that chick comes out. And that chick is, she's not ruled by anger. She's ruled by fear and by pain and by hurt. And so I always tell people that anger is a secondary emotion. What did you feel? You know, it was because either A, I'm not gonna let this happen, so I'm gonna attack first. Or B, you did this, this hurt me so deeply, then I'm going to attack.
Yeah.
And so we need to navigate through our fear and through our pain, and that will help us to get a handle on our anger and our acting out. Because that anger is where that acting out happens, you know.
All the time.
And I think that when you got into a place where you were like, hey, this guy really loves me for who I am, he wants to be with me, then it's that
Trigger.
wait, why does he want to be with me? Well, am I good enough to be with?
Precisely. Am I worthy?
Am I
Can
worthy?
I do this?
Exactly. And so then it's like, well, I'm not worthy. Then it's like, okay, I'm afraid. Why am I not worthy? Then trigger, you ain't shit.
Projection.
So, because I'm not, I don't feel I'm shit.
Projection. Exactly.
So
exactly.
You ain't shit.
Oh my God.
And
I've been
so,
pointing all the time.
So when we point at them and then we're berating and dogging and emasculating
doing
and
all of that,
what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the outcome is going to be? And so it's almost like we're creating a narrative for self-destruction, creating a narrative for failure.
A prophetic narrative.
Oh, absolutely.
A prophetic narrative based off of the fear that we feel.
Correct.
And we create it and manifest it as truth, and it's not true at all.
Exactly.
So,
I love that. You know what? You something else.
You the one got me on the couch.
You are, I know. I might have to switch places.
Y'all are fixing my life moment.
Oh my gosh, we gonna have to switch places. I'm gonna have to get on your couch. I mean, man, because anger and fear manifests. Fear and pain manifests as anger, and it destroys us. It destroys our community. It destroys our relationships. It destroys us on a cellular level.
Yeah. So
at this moment, we're going to go ahead and wrap this session. I'm going to go ahead and thank Miss Nicolia for coming and all that good stuff.
So, yes, podcast Become She every second and fourth Wednesday. Jessica and I, we lead you through the transcendental journey of moving from the strong woman to the free woman, actualizing your highest self. And with Flaunt Your Fly, Queendom Recharge has now halted. We will be resuming our goddess circles next year, but memberships will be opening shortly. So definitely check out at Flaunt Your Fly on both Instagram and Facebook, as well as flauntyourfly.com for more event details.
How about and Become She?
Yes, becomeshe.com, and the hashtag for Become She is at Become She.
And Goddess Healing?
Yes. Oh, Goddess Healing Party. I have so much. Goddess Healing Party. We're still in the throes of planning our next event, so I didn't want to put that out there, but definitely follow Goddess Healing Party on Facebook and Instagram at Goddess Healing.
All right.
So,
thank you very much, my dear.
Of course.